All right, I guess it's on. Yeah, we're grooving. Hey everybody. Happy Monday. And it is Monday the 11th of January. 11 days we've been in this month and the crazies that we've gone through, but we're still here, and that's the point. Y'all, I wanted to do something different. Instead of doing my usual type and have a newsletter written out thing, I thought I'd do a news vlog where could sit and talk and tell you little notes and what have you. That way, you didn't have to sit there and read it if you're doing other things. You could just hear it in the background, sort of like an audiobook. So it's audio papa. Yay! Me, I'm finally trying to get into the new age, so bear with me on this, okay? Those of you that know me, you know what's up. I'm like, ugh. So we're gonna try this out. I hope you like this format. I'm gonna try it out, and I want your feedback. Thank you so much for being here for me. I always start with thank yous. Thank y'all for joining in. Thank y'all for being a part of my lovely little rose garden and all the good stuff. And I want to start with today of all things, because today, Monday, I made notes too, y'all. I actually made notes. I'm actually taking this thing for really, huh? So join with me. Today is the 11th, and since it's 111, there is a 111 portal. You know how when you see numbers, and those of you that we've talked about numbers with, this is an important one. We are at the 111 portal during a conjunction of Jupiter and Mercury. So the planet of expansion and generosity and just graciousness meets with Mercury during this time, and Mercury is communications, luck, open roads, all that good stuff. So them two together are in the process in Aquarius, of all things, are in the process of waking humanity up to the new age. And it's a portal of manifestation and miracles. So right now, today, if you haven't already, sit down and get that energy out there and meditate. Today's a good day to just not really practice the whole get down and get groovy, but just light yourself a candle, meditate, and really think about what you want to manifest, what you want to see coming, and how you can expand yourself this month, for the rest of this month, because this is the first new moon of the month. So, because we did that full moon, and now we're going into that getting rid of all of what was last year's vestiges, and you notice didn't go out just quiet. It went out with a little bit of a blast. So that little extra is so now we begin to start collecting our thoughts and harmonizing ourselves, getting things together and focusing on what we want to see and what we want to do. So there's that. Also, we have afterwards this new moon that's coming up, because tonight's not the new moon, this is just the prep to the new moon that is coming in. Is going to be a new moon in Capricorn. Capricorn's about your grounding, your money, your how are you doing things in the world, how are you focusing, how are you shifting and making things happen, the reality, because Capricorns count they cash. Trust me, I'm married to one. So they're the great accountants, but they also have heart and life, and they see things as real. So now's a good time to think about the reality of some things. Think about what's going on and what you want to see happen. Since it's the new moon also, I want you to, it's about not taking time or taking risks. Again, Capricorn energy. We're not taking just risks that's take your guns out and start blazing. No, calculations, planning, calm and sober thought over just reactionary action. So, this is the time to meditate on your desires, work on rituals and ceremonies connected to Earth. Earth being, right now we're in winter in this hemisphere. So it's the time of thinking, what do I want to see? What do I want to see come forth? Again, going back to what are our focuses? What are our goals? What do we want to see come to fruition? So it's much like when you're gardening. What seeds are you going to put down to come forth, to have that energy come forth? And earth energy, it's slow but steady, and it wins and it goes forward, it keeps going steadily to its goal. It's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen. And that's the whole thing too. On the grand scale of things, we are seeing a wake up of what's happening in the world, but it's going to take a little time, because it took a while to get people woken up, because now their eyes are open, their feet are on the ground, and they get into the coffee. So that analogy of where we're going, what's our day going to do, that's what I want you to do on the new moon. And there's a ritual I want you to do to it. It's a simple thing you can do, but I'm going to get to that in a minute. So now is the time for patience. Even though I want you to keep your eyes open for opportunities and expansion and evolution and change. Keep your eyes open because, again, this year is kind of like last year in the sense that there's going to be opportunities, but you got to keep your peepers open to see where they're at, because sometimes they might be occluded. They might be subsumed or subsumized behind something else. So you got to keep thinking, okay, not to be an opportunist, but to see the opportunity. Use your acrostic eyes, kids, because sometimes you got to look crosswise and backwards to see where the words are at. So that's the time when I'm telling you to be mindful, to sit back and go, let me think. Again, going back to that Capricorn energy of patience, wait, look. The old thing of open your eyes, open your ears, and use this. So, going back, don't rushing into anything. Have patience and trust your intuition. All that work we've been doing that I've been telling you, do some work, do your baths, do your meditations, do all that good stuff. Those are part of your spiritual, your little box of fun goodies, your spiritual treasure box, so that you can go back to and keep building up your own self. Now is the time to get into that, to start meditating and really thinking about what is and what isn't. Discernment also, I want you to meditate on discernment. What is the balancing thing? Like, do I want this? Do I want that? What's really good for me and my soul? So that's things to get into during this new moon. Do not settle, because I have these notes. I love notes. Who knew, right? Do not settle for anything and flow and trust in the divine. Keep your mind open. Again, we're dealing with Aquarius energy. We're also dealing with Capricorn energy. Both of them are complementary, contrary to popular belief, because Aquarius understands the human side of it, but also understands the determination, and nothing stops a goat from going up the hill. It may take a little bit, but they're getting there. And that's what I want you to balance out: the humanity of what you're doing, who you are and how you are, plus that determination to get to where you're going, and keep the focus here. Keep your goals in sight. We have to prepare for the breakthrough before anything else. It's an intense energy, and so people are going to feel emotions. They're going to feel anxiety, and a lot of problems in this, or a lot of anxiety in your solar plexus. Remember when those energies you feel when your gut would be like, oh, this is a lot. Oh my God, and you feel that energy in your gut? That's the energy that's going to be there. This is why we say take a step back. Calm yourself. Breathing. I cannot stress enough the simple action of breathing. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And I've taught this to a lot of y'all. And now is that time to go back and pull it out of the treasure box and make it work for you. There's a simple 9 breath breathing technique that I learned, and I want to share it with you. And it's real simple. You're going to take 9 breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And you're going to feel it like you're filling a vase from the very bottom of your solar plexus upwards, rather than just using the top part of your lungs. So you'll breathe in and feel it fill your bottom. But here's what you're going to do. The first 3, you're going to hold your nostril, whichever one you want to use first. Breathe it in and pull it out for 3 times. Then you're going to switch 3 times. And then after that, leave them both open. And 3 times, open nostrils. Do this in succession, deep as you can get it, and then let it out slowly, calmly. You will notice the shift, the change in energy and where your mind is at. That's the moment when you can really start getting in tune with yourself. I know, meditation. There was a time that I really didn't, none of that, because I'm like, I can't stay shut for 2 minutes, much less. But I've taught myself this, and that's one of the first things I learned. Before you do anything big, before you have anything, even if you have like a little bit of anxiety, now this is not to take the place of medical care and medical things, but the breathing exercise helps you center and ground yourself to get that moment of, all right. I did that before this video, because sometimes I get real anxious about doing videos and talking to people. I know me, right? But it's true. And breathing, even if you only can get 3 with both nostrils open, as long as you get that center point. But try doing the 9-fold breath, which is the 9 breath that I showed you. Try doing that before you do any ritual, meditation, talking to your ancestors, and you'll see a little bit of a difference. And also do that before you have to make any decisions that give you a little bit of anxiousness. So, moving along, now that we have the new moon stuff, what can we do with this new moon? Here's a little something I want to tell you. First, During the new moon, when you're back home and you ain't got nothing else to do, you got your time for yourself, give yourself a salt bath. And you know how I feel about salt baths. A little bit of like a cup of sea salt, a cup of kosher salt, a cup of either Himalayan pink salt if you want to get all fancy schmancy, or just regular salt. Mix that together with a cup of baking soda and either tea or essential oil of peppermint or lavender or even rosemary, whichever one you vibe with, or a mixture of all three, because three of them are really good. Some people like lemon and lemongrass. Work with that. These are good essences to use during the new moon. So give yourself that and take a time to bathe and have two little tea lights burning on either side of your tub so that you form like a little, like a light line. So when you come out of your tub, you cross over this line of light and leave behind everything, and away go troubles down the drain. So, and if you're using herbs, please strain out the herbal remnants and either toss them onto the earth or give them back to the earth somehow, because you don't want your drain to get clogged trying to get spiritually sound. Plumbers are a lot of money. Not that plumbers don't deserve it, but you know what I mean. Keep your coins, because it's good to keep an eye on your coins from here on in walking in, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Then set up any candles or anything you want to do in your meditative space. It can be as simple as a glass of water, a candle, some incense, and your crystals, or just some light. Anything that keeps you in that space. Then we're going to go and do what? That breathing technique. Sit down and be calm. After you take your bath and you come out, you're dry. It's all good and cute. You've pat yourself dry. Get yourself some nice little comfortable clothing. And you get to your meditative space. You set up your space and you do your breathing. 1, 2, 3. And once you get into that grounded state, that's the time to call on the moon and the earth to bless and protect you. To call on your ancestors and your spirit guides and take a minute to really focus. Have a book or some paper and a pen and write down your intentions. Write down what you want to see. Write down everything. If you need to take 2 separate papers, great. If not, just do what you got to do. And get your intention right. Set it and see it. And no anxiety, no what could happen if, or there's some bad coming. No, just calm, cool, collected. And then once you feel that you're ready, say thank you to all the guides, spirits, and energies that were there, and tell them thank you. I release you to go do what y'all gotta do. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Thank you so much. Paraphrasing. And just release that energy out. And then remember, take your manifestation thing, of your list of things you want to see, and fold it up and put it in like a little box or a book or anything you want to see, or anything you can get at where you can manifest, and keep it together on the side. And that's just a little new moon ritual that you can do during every new moon to get that energy going, to keep that energy moving and shaking. And also, when the full moon comes, you can open up your manifestation list and see what you were able to manifest. And the best way to do it is think it, know it, see it, it's happened, and let that energy go on. Let your candles burn out, let your incense burn out, and then move about your way. Of course, being safe with fire, because, kind of be safe with fire. But another thing I want to touch on, now that we talked about the full moon, there's other things happening. Throughout this whole year of 2020, there's not going to be a single day where Mars will be in retrograde motion. What that means is there's going to be a lot of strength and energy to achieve your goals and move forward with that focus. There's no more procrastination or emotional imbalance that are coming through that planetary move, because now it's time for breakthrough. Mars is actually saying, okay, let's get this shit going. Let's move that energy forward in a positive way. And you'll be seeing a lot of little synchronicities that deal with dreams too. Even though Mars usually doesn't work with dreams, we're seeing that energy make dreams manifest, make things happen, the good ones. The bad ones are also like warnings where you're like, so listen. Again, going back to using this, and let's not talk too much about our things unless you're hanging out with me and we talking your business. Now, another thing, Capricorn new moon on the 12th, the 13th, Mars squares Saturn, which is the final of the 3 squares going on. There's going to be some tensions, but understand it's closure. So what do I mean by this? It's the last bit of the old year getting swept out and being closed up and saying, we're done with that. So now we can move on a little bit more clean. Uranus goes direct on the 14th. And no more major planets in retrograde for a little bit. So that makes sure that you're going forward. That makes, okay, I got my everything clear. Those planetary energies are pushing me towards getting to where I want to be. And so keep your eyes open on the 17th for sudden changes, like bam, good things. But remember also, look for the silver lining. Again, hidden opportunities that we have to use our discernment and our acrostic eye to see, but they will be there. The 19th, a day after Jeff's birthday, hey, happy birthday, is going to be Aquarius season begins. So that humanitarian energy that we were talking about before, that energy that pushes us forward in a light of not just what we're doing for ourselves, but what's going to be done for the whole world in general. How do I affect the changes for myself that help the world? There's a full moon on the 28th in Leo. So it's Leo and Sun conjunct Jupiter. This is going to be bold. It's going to be all about, you know how Leos are. Here I am, look at me. So get that energy moving when that full moon comes in. And when we're talking about full moon energy, again, like my notes would say, that's the time to charge your crystals with that I'm getting it done, fiery, powerful, roar energy. So get that energy in there. Charge up your tarot cards, cleanse them with this moonlight. Full moon meditations are about what have I achieved, what am I going to take with me, and what am I going to foster within. So just like when you did with the new moons, kind of the same thing, except that this time with a full moon, you can do a quick flip with your bathing. And if you've hung with me for a bit, you know that I like doing the luck baths, because the full moon expands everything and strengthens everything. So on that full moon, get yourself my luck bath that I've taught everybody. And if you don't remember, it's condensed milk and a little bit of sweet wine and basil tea and a little bit of honey and flower petals. You can use dried and put them in there, and whatever perfume that you like. It can be a fabulous perfume from Louisiana Curio Shop, like our Triumph, which is a Crown of Success blend, or 5 Spot, which not only cleans away negativity but also brings good luck, or our fabulous 7 Drops of Love or Luck. Get with me about it afterwards, and we might hook you up. Shameless plug! But, moving along, any perfume will do. And while you're doing that, you're asking that the fullness of good luck, good health, prosperity, happiness, joy, all the good things you want to see manifest are in the water. And you get in there and you drink yourself a little glass of wine and you think about the gratitude for what you have had and the good things you want to see manifest for yourself and all that good stuff. And then once you're done, pop right out. Get yourself some cheesecloth or one of those little strainers so that all the flowers don't get into the drain. We've talked about why. And you can use those flower petals and scatter them outside, or wrap them up in a little bundle and leave them at the crossroads, or leave them in the woods so that it goes back to the earth. Make sure that you're using cloth or a tea bag cloth, or even a coffee filter, one of the paper coffee filters, because they're biodegradable. All about the earth and all. So you can also burn your intentions. Now's the time to sit there with your candles, look at your intention and say, okay, cool. I burn the rest so that it gets done. And you burn that in a fire-safe little container, and you're burning away that energy into the world, and throw the ashes out the window or the door so that they can go into the world and continue to manifest for you. And that's good things you can do for the moon. I know I haven't touched on that possibly before, but I want you to have this and go back and write it down, because that's the wonderful thing about having a video. You know, you can always go back. And now that we've touched on that, we've done our forecast, and I want you to do things. This full moon, because it's in Leo and because it's such an expansive full moon, it's the first full moon, I want that energy of fulfillment and happiness to be there, because Leo is that regal, royal energy, and I want you to feel that successful royal energy. I want you to have that. So a lot of good things about success and crowning yourself with success and what success means to you in particular. Now, it's also a Hierophant year. If you want, you can do some research on the Hierophant, because it is the 5th card, and this is a 5-year. So, as we know, 5s are always about challenge, change, fluctuations, and, of course, lucky and unlucky, whichever. They indicate material prosperity, but spiritual poverty. So the warning here is, as you're running to get all the good and put all the things together and have money and do this, think about it. Again, going back to that idea of sit back and watch and think and focus, understand, and be a little mindful of it. Mindful just being think before you speak and look before you leap, and be thankful. Keep that spiritual side of gratitude and thanks, no matter what, the silver lining. Also, since it's the Hierophant, it's about going back to traditions. Not just traditions that people think are good, but the real traditions of your family, your home, the things that enrich you, and talking to mentors to help you get through things. Speaking of which, getting to the business part, I will be offering this year mentorships, and they're going to be $125 for about an hour and a half, an hour, where we just sit there and talk about your spiritual life, talk about your magical stuff. It isn't a reading, it's more like just sitting there and troubleshooting for you, getting things you might need to do, and getting stuff off your chest. It's sort of like therapy for your spirit and your soul. Not that I'm saying that I'm a therapist or anything, because, you know, that whole legal thing, and I would be remiss if I didn't tell you, no, I'm not a therapist, but I am one who will help you. So, that said, get with me if you want to take that, and we do it in two parts. Like, one part, you have one session, then you have another session, so it balances out, where we continue like little bi-monthly or twice per month, where we sit there and talk about you, your feelings, your wants, and what you want to see manifest, and how to get that going. Now, this is not a reading. This is separate from a reading. So it kind of like says, if I gave you a reading, we can draw from that and work with it. So get with me on that if you want. And speaking of readings, this is the last week for your year forecast. So I'm going to say I still have spaces from the 13th to the 16th. So ASAP, get with me if you want a space, because after the 16th, done, no more. So get with me on that, and we'll talk about that. We have a couple of spaces left, so get with me, and we'll see how we can get you in. Again, you need to email that for me, because that's going to be a special price of $150. And we sit there, and we're just going to go through all of the year, month by month, special big things, and then do the overview in the quadrants, which is the quarterlies of the year, as well as the whole year in summation, and what you need on a basis. So if you're interested, get me in on that. Mentorship as well, get back with me on that. And I think I have touched on everything that I wanted to touch with you on this new vlog letter, or news vlog. And another thing I want to, again, thank you so much for hanging with me and getting with me. Please give me your feedback on this and let me know what you think. And if you want to, ask questions, feel free. Also, one last thing before, I want y'all to do something for yourselves. I am a big proponent of protection. You know me, protect yourself. I'm all about CPR, cleanse, reverse, protect. Yourself, your home, and everything. Get yourself some little, you can go to the dollar store and get these little, holders or what have you, and make salt jars. Salt jars are easy. You use salt and charged crystals, and maybe a little lavender, a little rosemary, a little sage, a little pine, and put them together in these little salt jars. And you put them around the house. Put them like one in each area, so that the salt and the herbs and crystals like amethyst, crystals like regular quartz crystal, another one I like to use is obsidian, and hematite. Stones like that are reflective and negative barring and blocking, and put them into, they can be small, they don't have to be huge things. If you want to do a big one and salt, knock yourself out. But I like doing small things that people can't see but are still effective, and charge these up with the energy of protection to protect your home and bar the way of negativity coming in. And just put them everywhere. You can put one in particular with some amethyst, a little bit of coffee grounds. That's another thing to use too. People don't use coffee grounds, unused in this case, enough. Because coffee sets up protection and also gets rid of negativity. And get some rosemary or pine needles, mix that together and keep it by your bedside. And it's great to keep you protected. For those of my people out there that like to have dreams that are really intense and they're kind of astral projecty, that's cool to keep protection. So amethyst, salt, coffee, and rosemary or pine needles. And put that in a little jar by your bed. So, that said, again, please get with me on stuff. I hope this was wonderful. I hope you enjoyed. If there's anything else, I'll give you updates, of course. And of course, please check back with me for fabulous Louisiana Curio Shops products that can help you with your success and forward movement. And with that, my lovelies, I wish you all the best, love, peace, and much juju. Mwah. Get back with me, and big love. Later on.